harsh setback against Crystal Palace, who secured a dramatic victory in the final minutes. The atmosphere in the stadium was electric. The Eagles set an intense pace from the start, exploiting every defensive mistake by the Reds, and found the perfect opening through Ismail Assar. The opening goal seemed to sound the alarm for the visitors, but soon Federico Chiesa brought life back into the side by equalising. Yet the response came like a bucket of cold water. Eddie Nketiah, with opportunism, secured Palace's 2-1 win, ending Liverpool's unbeaten run across all competitions up to that point. For many fans, the result felt almost like a reality check. Slot's team had been building a consistent season, still leading the Premier League, but much of that success had been sustained by magical moments from individual talents rather than collective regularity. Defeat seemed inevitable at some point, but the manner in which it happened left a bitter taste. More than the loss of their unbeaten record, there was a feeling that tactical choices had played a decisive role in the stumble. The big question raised after the match centred on an Arne Slot decision that surprised even experienced analysts: the selection of Florian Wirtz on the left wing. The young German, known for his natural brilliance as a number 10, was moved to a role that simply does not maximise his strengths. The result? A disjointed team and a vulnerable area. Milos Kerkez, the newly signed left-back, had already been facing adaptation difficulties, and the absence of a natural winger to provide protection only increased the pressure on him. Craig Burley, ESPN commentator and former player, did not spare criticism of the Dutch coach. For him, the choice makes no sense in any respect. His analysis was direct and even provocative. If you're going to play Wirtz on the left, then you might as well not play him at all. He is a number 10. That is his place. Pushing him to the wing weakens the team because neither he feels comfortable there, nor does the fullback receive the support he needs. His words resonated among fans and journalists alike, reinforcing a doubt already in the air. Was Slot experimenting too much at a decisive moment of the season? The curious thing is that Florian Wirtz is no ordinary player. At just 22 years old, he carries the label of one of the biggest talents in world football, and his arrival at Liverpool was celebrated as a masterstroke in the transfer market. Versatile, creative, and technically gifted, he's already shown in the Bundesliga and with the German national team that he can change games with his vision and intelligence. But placing him in an uncomfortable zone, especially in an away game against a team demanding maximum intensity, sounded to many like an unnecessary gamble. And indeed, the consequences were clear. The team lost attacking fluidity, Gakpo had to come off the bench to cover the gap, and Wirtz eventually returned to midfield where he feels most natural. But by then, it was too late. The damage had been done, and the weakness exposed on the left directly contributed to the defeat. Frustration was etched on the faces of supporters unaccustomed to seeing such clear planning errors on the pitch. Still, there is a fine line between criticism and hope. Many believe this setback could be a lesson. Slot until now had been praised for how he guided the team after taking over one of the most coveted jobs at Anfield in what is always a complex succession. The boldness to experiment may even be part of the process, but the moment also demands pragmatism. After all, the Premier League does not forgive mistakes, and direct rivals are lurking, waiting for any slip to close the gap. What seems now inevitable is Wirtz's return to his natural position in the next European fixture. The clash with Galatasaray in the Champions League presents the perfect opportunity to reset. It was precisely in this competition, while at Bayer Leverkusen, that the young German enjoyed some of his brightest nights, captivating Europe with his precocious maturity. In Liverpool's opening Champions League game against Atletico Madrid, he'd already shown glimpses of his potential, proving he can be decisive in high-stakes matches. Against the Turks, a freer, more creative and soberall more comfortable Wirtz is expected. A player who, when operating as a true midfield maestro, can dictate the rhythm and open defences like few in his generation. And this could be a moment of redemption, not just for him, but for Arne Slot too, who needs to regain supporters' trust after the doubts raised against Palace.
Although criticism has been harsh, confidence in Wirtz's ability to establish himself among the greats remains intact. The talent is unquestionable, But as always in football, talent must be honed in the right way, and that requires the manager to understand where and how to use the player. It is like placing a rare piece into a puzzle. If it is in the wrong place, not only does it not fit, it disrupts the entire picture. The episode is also a reminder to Liverpool fans of how demanding this season is. There is no room for distractions, especially when the team sits at the top of the table and every point matters in the title race. The setback against Crystal Palace will be remembered not just as a defeat, but as a moment of reflection on choices, risks, and how the balance between boldness and caution shapes the path of a club that dreams big. And if there is one thing Arne Slot has already shown since arriving, it is his adaptability. Known for being a studious and detailed-oriented coach, he is unlikely to repeat the same mistake twice. The challenge now is to regain consistency, to maximize players like Wirtz in what they do best, and to keep alive the flame of confidence that propelled Liverpool ahead at the start of the season. Football is full of such ironies. Sometimes a painful defeat becomes the fuel for an even greater leap. Perhaps this is the case. Perhaps the stumble at Selhurst Park will one day be remembered as the spark that reignited a Liverpool side that learned from its own mistakes. What supporters know is that Arne Slot's team has more than enough talent, but must align strategy and execution so that frustrating nights like the one in London do not become the norm. In the end, the episode leaves more questions than answers. Will Wirtz find his best version at Liverpool? Will Slot manage to balance boldness and pragmatism in the title race? And will the shadow of this defeat serve as a warning to strengthen the squad rather than weaken it? The answers will come, as always, on the pitch. And the curiosity remains. This Arne Slot Liverpool still has much to show.